Hello everyone! Welcome to Chrissie Crafts. I'm Chrissie. Come and see what's on my hook, what's in my hoop, and what's happening at home. So let's get right into it with the crochet. What's on my hook? I've been making progress with some whips this week. First off is the Peach Pocket Tunic. I've got the back panel finished. This is a little tunic for my 7-year-old. I'm doing it in a King Cole Cottonsoft, which is, as the name states, really soft and really lovely. It's a Cottonsoft DK. The color is Lilac. It'll be a perfect summer tunic, summer jumper. It's going to be short-sleeved. That's the picture. I have the pattern. That's the picture. Isn't it darling? But my little one wanted it in purple with pink contrast. So there it is. So that's progress on that one. And there's also big progress on the, well, it's the Mist Kingfisher shawl from the Crochet Project, but I'm calling mine the Mist Cupcake because it is cupcake colors, pink frosted chocolate cupcake. I have finished the pink color block section. Gosh, isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I think it's a combination of the pattern, which is very funky and very contemporary. I love the big swathes of color and the stripes, but also that yarn. It's Eden Cottage. All the details, as always, will be in the show notes in the box below. It's called Rambling Rose, that pink, and the brown, something about brown, earth or compost, maybe compost, something like that. Something earthy and brown. So I've finished that section, so onward with that. The one thing I did notice though is both projects use lots, well primarily they're all double crochet, American term single crochet. So literally all I've been doing is double crocheting, back and forth and back and forth. Both patterns have different takes on the double crochet. For example, for the Mist Cupcake one, it's in the back loops only for some of the rows, so it gives ridges. For the tunic, it's alternating back loop, front loop. So there are different, different takes on the double crochet. But it can be a little bit tedious after a while doing all double crochets because they grow very slowly. So for that reason, this is how I justify having a whole bunch of whips, because I get bored with just one type of stitch all the time, and especially double crochet that grows so slowly. So I just have to have more things going on. Well, this is just dinky, but I have started on the Chasing Rainbows mandala from the last issue of Simply Crochet, the most recent one. I think there's one out this week. As always, it's going to be in the Namolio threads that I have. So it is a bit different than what's in the magazine. I'm also changing the colors a little bit because I noticed there were rainbow colors, so I'm going to make mine, I talked about this last time, in the rainbow colors. So this will be the red and then the orange here, and then I'll just do all the colors on the way out. But it's loads of trebles and using thread, whereas the other two projects are double crochets and using DK weight or 4-ply weights. So it's just something completely different, just to give my hands something else to do. That's about all the progress on crochet things that I have this week. But I do have a new book, and I thought you might like to see it. Crochet Borders, Every Which Way Crochet Borders, 139 patterns. That's a lot of border patterns. This is a fantastic book. I've seen it reviewed in a couple of places already online, on Instagram and on blogs and things. I thought, let me just show you anyway, because now I've got a copy. You might want my take on it. This is a fantastic kind of reference book to have. I like having trendy books and new patterns, but there are some core crochet books I like having in my library, and this is my latest one, and this is going to be an absolute gem that is timeless, really. Obviously, you're going to have all the different borders. 139. I wonder what happened there. Like, why not 140? I mean, 139 should be plenty for me for the rest of my life. But what I find interesting about this book, not only are the borders amazing and laid out perfectly, but first off, it's, as you can hear it squeaking, it's a ring binder, so that always helps because you can hold it open. But it's almost like the extra things in this book are what really makes it for me. Edie Eckman is the author. Sorry, I didn't say that already. Edie Eckman. What is really interesting with this is not just the patterns, but the design concepts. So it talks to you about colors, complementing, contrasting colors, what difference colors can make. That's all the same pattern, just in different colors. This is a book that really makes you think and makes you consider other ways of putting a border onto a project. And I really like that. It talks about customizing your borders, so altering the patterns to fit in certain ways. It's really fantastic. So what I like is because when I make a blanket, it is an awfully squeaky book, so I'll close it and be quiet. When I'm making a blanket, when I invest time into a blanket, I don't necessarily have to follow the border that is on the pattern. So it's a nice way of giving me lots of different options for borders that'll completely change the tone of a pattern. I made a baby blanket a few years ago for a friend, and it was a vintage, meaning it was from the 1970s, a baby blanket pattern. The pattern itself was beautiful, but it had one of those really over-the-top ruffly edges that I really don't like. The photo was fantastic. It was one of those, probably back then it was really new and really cool. It was like acrylic yarn, and the yarn was like shiny, and not in a nice silky way, like a shiny, flammable way. And it was just, you could look at the yarn, and I looked at the blanket, you could just tell the whole thing squeaked. You know, when you use cheap yarn and it's squeaky. I just remember looking at the photo saying, that's a squeaky, flammable baby blanket. I think I'll make mine differently. But the pattern itself was great. So what I did was I made the blanket, and then I just changed the border, and it looked so beautiful and so up-to-date and modern. And when I'm teaching crochet to people, I like to let them know that they don't always have to hold to a pattern. Because some people, when you're new at crochet, might be a bit afraid of all that, venturing out and thinking for yourself. So I let them know they can choose a different border. And that is a great reference book. It's a great resource to have. So Edie, fantastic book. Thumbs up. I also got a present in the post this week from the lovely Helen of Flora Honeypot. I'll put her details below. She's an Instagram pal of mine, and she's been making these beautiful little cottages and made a whole little village. Honeypot Lane, and each petal is a different cottage, and a group of us each received one of the houses. She posted all these on Instagram, and I was just thinking how cute they are, having no idea that one was going to be sent to me. I'm so pleased. And this one's nice because it has little French knots, it has embroidered flowers, and I'm thinking maybe that's why I got this one. It's Rose Cottage. Got a beautiful little card from her as well. So that is going to go up on the wall on a hook. I wish I could move in there some days and just hide. Oh, pretty Rose Cottage. Thank you so much, Helen. That was a real treat to receive. It made me really happy. Now, let's talk about what's in the hoop. So it's time to start the stitch along. Each week I'll have a different stitch to show and a different flower we'll make. Really simple, really quick, so it won't take much of your time. So maybe each week you could do one of the flowers and then put it down and go finish some crochet or some knitting or anything else you're doing, and then come back to it later on, just to introduce you to embroidery so you can see just how easy it is. This is the pattern, Herb Embroidery. This is the one I teach. It has all the different stitches that I'll list. This will be available separately in a separate video. I'm probably going to put it on my blog at some point so you could get access to it. But I'll also just show you into detail in the videos how to draw each one. You don't even have to draw them. I've made this so easy and so open to interpretation. I want embroidery to be really accessible and easy for you to start. I don't want you to feel like you have to have a very formal, straight-laced, severe pattern that you must follow to the letter and every stitch must be perfect. I want you to see how much fun it is just having a needle and thread and stitching into anything and doing it how you want to do it. And the nice thing with herbs is with garden flowers and any fabric you want to use, they're very forgiving because no flower in any garden is absolutely perfect and no two look alike. So you could do however you want, whatever stitch you want, and if it doesn't turn out perfect, put another petal over it or put a leaf over it. Just make it really accessible and easy and fun. It's supposed to be fun. So here's how to get started. You will need a 10-inch square of fabric, an 8-inch hoop, scissors, embroidery needles, and a selection of embroidery threads in shades of purple, green, yellow, and a bit of pink. Then thread your needle and let's get going. Check out my other YouTube videos for how to get started, including tracing your pattern, preparing your thread, and the basic stitches.